Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. This blurb will quickly discuss a couple of issues revolving around Thai immigration matters, especially in light of recent developments over the past few months. On another video on this channel, there's information regarding Thai business visas. For those interested in that type of information, I strongly recommend that you click over to that video now. This video will deal more with the various types of other categories of visas utilized by foreign nationals remaining in the Kingdom of Thailand. Before we start on specific visa categories, I want to start off with going through situations involved, or going through information which pertains to the 30-day exemption stamp, which is granted to almost all types of passport holders coming into Thailand. Those entering Thailand without a visa, by and large, are granted a 30-day visa exemption stamp. One must understand that this is not a visa in and of itself. It is simply an exemption from needing a visa for 30 days. Certain other nationalities that are not able to get a 30-day exemption stamp generally can get a visa on arrival of varying levels of validity, from 30 days all the way up to 90 days of validity. With respect to the exemption stamp, it should be noted that in the past there were those who remained in Thailand for fairly significant periods of time, substantial periods of time, utilizing the visa exemption stamps. In fact, there were so-called border runners who would run across the Thai border with, say, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, or Malaysia. They would just run across a border and get a new 30-day stamp. The era of that being infinitely possible has come to an end. It's come to my attention that most border crossings currently will only issue a 15-day exemption stamp now, while airports and I believe still seaports are by and large issuing 30-day stamps upon arrival. With that being said, those who are deemed to be visa runners, especially frequent visa runners, i.e. those types of people that are remaining in the kingdom on visa exemption stamps for significant periods of time, and we're talking months and months on end, perhaps even years on end, those kinds of, that situation has been strongly curtailed by Thai immigration officials, and they're not really issuing multiple 30-day stamps. And in fact, the somewhat unofficial policy seems to be that out of a given year, the absolute maximum number of 30-day stamps that they're willing to give an individual is going to be 6 out of a year, which means 6 months out of a given year. That being stated, immigration officers each have their own discretionary powers, so don't make the assumption that you're going to be able to get 6 months on those types of stamps. My personal opinion is anyone trying to get more than 2 in about a 4 or 5 month period probably is going to have some significant scrutiny when passing through immigration. Which brings us to some other immigration categories or visa categories in the kingdom, notably tourist visas. These types of visas are issued for 60 days initially, and in the past they've had a 30-day extension window. So if you're in the kingdom on the 60-day tourist visa and you wish to stay for another 30 days, one can petition immigration authorities here in Thailand for another 30 days, and an additional 30 days will be added so long as one pays the filing fee. It should be noted with respect to tourist visas, within about the last, I believe it's been about 2.5 years, a new scheme has come into place for longer-term tourist visas. There's a 6-month multi-entry tourist visa which is now available, and it appears Thai immigration officials are trying to phase out the old single-entry 60-day tourist visa in favor of a one-time per year 6-month multi-entry tourist visa. As of now, the implementation of this project is still sort of in a state of flux, so check back with this channel at a later date to see how that progresses. A couple other notes regarding visas here in Thailand. Another video on this channel will deal directly with marriage visas. We won't deal with that directly in this video. Another one that has been a pretty constant immigration category for those wishing to stay in Thailand long term has been the education visa, the so-called ED visa. I put that category, I sort of lump it in with the tourist visa category because coming from a U.S. immigration background, student visas and tourist visas are treated much the same way by U.S. immigration officials. And as things are evolving here in Thailand with respect to immigration matters, actually education visas and tourist visas are coming to be scrutinized in much the same way as one another. Education visas at one time were a fairly, if not easy, but fairly straightforward way of foreign nationals in the Kingdom of Thailand to get a travel document that would allow them to stay for a year or multi-years in the education category. In most cases, such foreigners were undertaking language classes, etc. Currently, education visas are much more heavily scrutinized than they were in the past. Unfortunately, while there were legitimate language schools that were offering education visas, there were illegitimate institutions or sort of fly-by-night operations that were attempting to get foreigners in ED visa status while perhaps learning Thai or learning some other language, when in fact they weren't doing much of anything. They were just simply getting the immigration status and just using it to live in Thailand. Now that has effectively come to an end, or I should say it's been curtailed greatly and scrutiny has been heightened, most notably education visas are now issued in 90-day increments by and large, rather than a one-off one-year extension. And it's come to my attention through anecdotal evidence that most of those who apply for education visa renewals here in Thailand, especially if their reason for having an education visa is for the learning of Thai, they'll be tested on their Thai progressively as they go back to renew their education visa. So if someone has been in Thailand for 3 years supposedly learning Thai, they better be able to at least have something of a conversation with the Thai immigration officer adjudicating their renewal at the immigration office, or else possibly they could even be denied the extension, or they could be told that, look, you can't have any more education visas. This is not unheard of. Education visas have been somewhat less in demand in recent years due to the fact that there is intense scrutiny by immigration officials, and there are new restrictions as opposed to the rules regarding education visas before. Just a quick side note. In the past, Thai immigration was somewhat viewed as being, or at least the rules pertaining to Thai immigration were viewed as rather laxly enforced. They were viewed as rather soft in the sense of, you know, as long as somebody could show up and pay the requisite filing fees for various immigration categories, especially in tourist visas or education visas, that they could just automatically get, that people could just automatically get those benefits. The other thing was, there was a long period of time where, yes, it was possible to simply basically live in Thailand doing border runs to the border every 30 days. All of this is effectively no longer the case. Remaining in Thailand pretty much now requires a non-immigrant visa category of some sort, and even those in a non-immigrant category such as the education visa are now subject to further more intense scrutiny. As I've gone into detail in both the marriage visa blurb that I've done on this channel and the business visa blurb that I've done on this channel, even those categories have become subject to more scrutiny. Whatever visa category one is seeking here in Thailand, the fact is scrutiny is higher than it has been in the past, and those who think that they can simply use non-immigrant tourist type visa categories to remain in the kingdom for long periods of time, such as multi-months or years, this is no longer the case and no longer possible. Thank you.